There are, of course, 18 teams in the Bundesliga. It's a brand new season. It's the 25-26 season. Like I say, yeah, we don't just obsess about Bayern Munich. I promise you.
I meant
So in this video, we're going to react to Bayer Leverkusen. It is a football manager style rebuild going on under new management, the management of Erik Ten Hag at Bayer Leverkusen. Their opponents at the Bayer Arena is TSG Hoffenheim. Tiny club, lots of fucking money. Also missing some key players. Anyway, let's pause. Gonzo gives a transition, and without further ado, let's get in and react to Bayer Leverkusen hosting TSG Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga. As we said at the top of the video, it is a football manager style rebuild going on at the fussball club that is Bayer Leverkusen. Of course, they lost their head coach, Xabi Alonso. He said Auf Wiedersehen because he went to join Real Madrid in the summer. In came head coach, the Dutchman Erik Ten Hag, serial trophy winner in his native Holland, the Netherlands. When he was at Ajax, he won 3, technically 4 championships in the Eredivisie, a couple of domestic cups, some super cups, and of course he got to the semi-final of the Champions League in 2019. It's Jack, will know all about that. Jack Pat, the Tefman Ten community, because of course he's a Spurs fan. They knocked them out in the end, but it was a fucking epic semi-final. Then he gets his move, doesn't he, Ten Hag, to Manchester United, where in the first season he just finishing third, gets them into the Champions League. That didn't really work out. They're going to Europa Cup run, I believe. But anyway, apart from finishing third in the first year, he did also win 2 back-to-back cups, domestic cups. He won our favourite, the Caribou, the EFL, the League Cup, and the following season, he won the FA Cup, didn't he? Beating the blue half of Manchester City. So clap that one in, right? Well, you would do if you were It's Josh Bosch in one. If you're also Josh, part of the Tafman 10 community. Current day then at Bayer Leverkusen at the werkself, playing in the Bayer Arena. Wow, some massive outgoing transfers. And again, we'll go through these, but not in any particular order of merit. The big one, of course, Lucas Hradecky. Well, you know, big man in between the sticks. Yeah, the goalkeeper Lucas Hradecky's gone out to join. Weirdly, he's going to join Eric Dyer at AS Monaco in League 1. Jeremy Frimpong, the right back / wing back. He went to Liverpool. Arguably, well, actually, I don't think he's played, has he, since he's made that move? I think he's out injured. Anyway, he's gone in the shadow of Florian Wirtz. That was the fucking transfer story that kept on giving throughout the summer. Was he going to SC Bayern Munich? Was he going to Liverpool? Was he going to Newcastle? Was he going to go to Chelsea like everybody else for Big Jim up the Chelsea? But he chose Liverpool because he believed in Arne Slot. Was it 140 million euro? Big transfer fee. Not really hit the ground running, but again, it's a long season. They're playing a lot of competitions, as are Bayer Leverkusen, to be fair. At time of writing, the Champions League, the UCL fixtures have not come out just yet, but they will be in the draw by virtue of finishing as runners-up last season. So, okay, the year before, under Xabi Alonso, 23-24, they did win the title, didn't they? They were fucking unbeaten as well. An invincible record, isn't that right, Gonzo? Gives a claw, right? So that was great. Of course, Xabi's gone. Frustrated last season, still finished runners-up, but this football manager star rebuild is going on, right? So again, they've lost Hradecky, the keeper. They've lost the core right back / wing back, Jeremy Frimpong. They've lost their attacking midfielder, their talisman in Florian Wirtz, and of course, away the lads, they lost their anchor in the midfield, didn't they? Granit Xhaka, once of Arsenal. Thank you for that one, Gonzo. He's gone to join Sunderland in the EPL and English Premier League, so at some point he will be butting up against his old teammates in Florian Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong. The ins then, again, this big rebuild that's going on, and again, in no particular order whatsoever, and we're pulling the data from their Bundesliga.com app. They've got a kind of almost like a live feed now of all the transfers, activity that's gone on across the 18 fussball clubs in the Bundesliga. Farid Alpha Rubrecht, pretty sure I've got that wrong. Anyway, again, there's a comment section down below. Your name all over it. Feel free to let me know the correct phonetic spelling, but I'm pretty sure we'll do it one more time. Farid Alpha Rubrecht. He's coming from Manchester City. I believe he's a right winger. He's joined by a goalkeeper, Janis Blazwicz. He's come in from RB Leipzig. It feels like he'll be sitting on the bench though, because of course their main goalkeeper, their main transferred. In goalkeepers, Mark Flecken from Brentford. Again, we do worry about Brentford because they're another team in the EPL that just seems to have been absolutely gutted, but that's not the focus for today. Christian Fofana, he's a striker. He's coming from Albacete. That feels like that sounds right. Albacete. They're a Segunda team or La Liga 2. But they've got that weird sponsorship with EAFC. Is it Hypermotion? That special effect within the game. Anyway, it's a quirk. I'm not sure. It doesn't roll off the tongue, does it? The Segunda La Liga, sponsored by Hypermotion EAFC. Anyway, he's coming from Albacete as a striker. He'll be playing up front, you'd imagine, or maybe he'll be interchanging as part of a rotation from Erik Ten Hag with Patrick Schick, the big Czechia striker. Ibrahim Mats has come in, an attacking midfielder from Hertha Berlin. Tim Uermann's coming from Bochum. Of course, VF Bau Bochum were relegated last season by virtue of finishing 17th in the Bundesliga. Ernest Poku's coming from AZ Alkmaar. That's another team in the Eredivisie. He's a right winger, but he can also play up front. Apparently, and I do have some memory of this, he was outstanding for the Netherlands in the under-21s European Championships earlier in the summer. Apparently, he recorded the fastest sprint out of anyone in that entire competition, 35 kilometres per hour or 22 miles per hour. It's the fastest sprint. So clearly he's got some pace on him as Ernest Poku, and it feels like Ten Hag's been keeping an eye on him. He's been looking back to, well, I suppose like Mike Rutherford once of Genesis, and we do hope that Phil Collins is feeling better and his recovery is going well. Looking back over his shoulder, because of course he did used to manage Ajax in the Eredivisie. He's looking at those Dutch teams, right? So he's picked up Ernest Poku from AZ Alkmaar. He's picked up Malik Tiltman, the American, also attacking midfielder from PSV Eindhoven. And from PSV to PSG, they've picked up Axel Tappe. He's a centre-back. He's come in as a young lad, but he's got some huge promise. And then they've got a giant in Issa Traore, no relation of the other famous Traores. This guy, Issa Traore, he's from Mali, so he'll be particularly looked out for and by the Taffman 10, because he's good friends with the Mali community. But he doesn't join until January of next calendar year. He joins on the 1st of January in 26. He's currently playing in the Mali top division for Jaliba AC. Anyway, he's 17, he's fucking tall, another centre-back. So yeah, lots of people coming into Bayer Leverkusen as they go through this huge football manager style rebuild under new manager, new head coach, Erik Ten Hag. And Bayer Leverkusen's opponents in this Bundesliga game are TSG Hoffenheim. Now, there's a quirk with TSG Hoffenheim in that they don't play their home games in Hoffenheim. They play in a small village called Sinsheim, and they have done for quite a few years, but it's okay though, because they are fucking swimming in cash. That's right, their owner is no other than Dietmar Hopp. Dietmar Hopp, for those who don't know or might be interested, he's the guy that created SAP. SAP is a colossal enterprise resource software solution. Yeah, it's used by lots of blue chip companies, so it's fucking like multi millionaire million times over. And I suppose that makes TSG Hoffenheim his sort of vanity project, which does also explain why, along with the likes of RB Leipzig, they're pretty well hated in the Bundesliga, because of course they've sort of bought their way to success. But they also have brought in coaches that have allowed them to grow and get to this point in their journey. Ralf Ragnarak, remember him? Ralf Ragnarak, he was once interim manager at Manchester United. He did manage RB Leipzig and Schalke and Hanover, teams like that. And again, he was part of the previous management at TSG Hoffenheim. Current manager, though, is Christian Ilzer. He came in from Austria, from the Austrian Bundesliga, where he was managing Sturm Graz. We've seen them play when we went over last summer to see a cup game in the beautiful Austrian countryside. But anyway, let's get this back on track then. So, the significant changes in the fussball club in terms of their squad. Out Finn Olbecker to Nuremberg. Tom Bischoff, and that's probably the big one, right? Tom Bischoff, the golden balls in the midfield. serial tackler, hard worker, bit of an animal, a biter. He went to Bayern Munich on a free, which is fucking mental. But anyway, we'll park that one there. Anton Stack, tall guy. Yeah, another part of that double act in that midfield. He's gone to Dirty Leeds of the Midlands. They're now playing in the EPL and English Premier League, having been promoted as champions last season. Who else has gone out the door? The significant Gift Orban. That's a strange one. Yeah, he's gone to Hellas Verona in Italy on loan for the season. And Leo Ostergaard, centre back. He likes a card, yellow or red. He's not fussed. He's gone to Rennes, or back to Rennes, I should say. In terms of incomings, then, Fiznik Alslani, yeah. He came back from his loan spell at Elversberg. Remember them? Under Stefan Horse. They were so close, weren't they? They were Nats chuff away from taking Frank Schmidt's Heidenheim all the way to penalties in that Bundesliga relegation playoff game last year. Again, tiny town Elversberg, 13,000 people village. Got to be smaller than Sinsheim, isn't it? Surely. Anyway, he was part of the reason why they were on that incredible run last year. 18 personal goals, 9 assists in 33 games in the Bundesliga last year, and even scored one and assisted one over the home and away leg in that Bundesliga playoff relegation game. They brought in another striker as well. That is in Tim Lemperler, yeah. Last season he was on loan at FC Köln, again the GOAT. 10 personal goals, 6 assists in 25 games. Also did score in their DFB Pokal matches last season. And they've also brought in Bernardo. Some of you may or may not remember him. Ryan from Rise Football Paradise, because of course Bernardo was a centre-back. He was a mainstay of that team last season, which unfortunately got relegated down into the Zweite Bundesliga, or the second Bundesliga. And then they've also brought in a CDM, a central defensive midfielder from Stoke City. This guy's got a marvellous name, Wouter Berger. Yeah, Wouter Berger, he's Dutch. He's coming on loan, he's 24. He's basically coming to replace Anton Stack. Coming into this Bundesliga game, match day 1 for Bayer Leverkusen. Over the summer, they've played a bunch of club friendlies. Of course, there was that slight embarrassing, slightly awkward 5-1 loss to a bunch of Flamengo. That's a Brazilian team, their under 20 side. Yeah, they did lose 5-1. That's nothing to see here. Let's move along. Then they played a couple of other friendlies with domestic teams. They beat Bochum 2-0. They went to the Netherlands to beat Fortuna Sittard 2-1. Beat Pisa, an Italian side, 3-0. Lost to Chelsea 2-0, not to worry. Anyway, and then we've come to this juncture, right? So, you know, an interesting pre-season, a couple of summer friendlies there. The team's starting to gel. They're definitely scoring goals. And of course, you know where the punchline is. They came up against TSG Hoffenheim, a team that we've predicted will go down along with Frank Schmidt's Heidenheim this season. Yeah, we've pegged Hoffenheim to finish 17th. And in the opening day of Erik Ten Hag's first tenure as a head coach of Bayer Leverkusen, they get beat 2-1. Let's go through the events as they happen. So there was an early goal for Gerald Quansah. He came in for Liverpool. Certainly forgot to mention him, by the way. Must have got caught out in there. And maybe I did mention him. I don't think we did. Anyway, yeah, he came in centre back for Liverpool because, of course, he wasn't getting any regular game time, not with that partnership between Virgil van Dijk and Ultra Kanate at the back for Liverpool. So Gerald Quansah's come in. I think that's quite big money, €30 million, I believe, somewhere in that range. Anyway, he scores after 6 minutes. I believe it was from a corner, assisted by Alejandro Grimaldo, who's still there, the left wing back. He's probably missing his mate Jeremy Frimpong on the other side. But a goal after 6 minutes, and you're thinking, right, this is a great start for Erik Ten Hag. He's the right man for the position. He's going to rebuild this team. They're going to go on and they're going to push FC Bayern Munich at the top of the title for the old Meisterschale and the Salad Bowl. 25th minute, totally different story. The guy that scored all those goals last season for SV Elversberg in the Zweite Bundesliga, he comes up with the equaliser. Fiznik Alslani, he's from Kosovo. It was an assist by Basaman Toure. We like him, he's Ivorian. So that was 1-1, and the game was won ultimately on the 52nd minute for TSG Hoffenheim by another striker that we mentioned that they brought in from FC Köln, from the Goetz, Tim Lemperle. He scored. It was an assist by his other striking partner, Fisnik Aslani. So the two centre forwards that Christian Ilse brought into the club, we feel, I didn't even mention Tabakovic. He's gone out on loan, by the way, for the season to BMG, to Borussia Mönchengladbach, which is a bit bizarre. Although, mind you, when he scored what? I think he only scored 3 goals in 18 games last season, so probably a smart move. Of course, he went to cover for the injured Tim Kleindist, the tall German striker that was prolific last season. And that's how the game finished. Yeah, we did see, though, as you can see from the events, a couple of the new signings that came in. Ernest Poku, he came in for his Bundesliga debut, along with Christian Cafane, the guy that came in from Albacete, the striker, and again, Claudio Echeverria. He's come in from Manchester City, the Argentinian, who did play 3 games for Manchester City during the FIFA Club World Cup. We didn't go to any of those games in person, but we did watch them on DAZN as we were ground hopping around the eastern seaboard. So yeah, not the best start for Bayer Leverkusen in that game. Just looking at some of the match stats as well, and we can break these down on an individual basis. Mark Flecken, new goalkeeper, 5.7. That's not great, is it? Arthur again, he was there last season. He's effectively replacing Jeremy Frimpong. That's a 6.1. No one's done brilliant. I suppose Grimaldo did get an assist, right? Did assist Gerald Quansah for that goal. Grimaldo with a 7.6. Quansah with a 7.9. Patrick Schick, the talisman, didn't score in that game, did he? He did score a lot last season. Was it 15 last season, I recall? Maybe it was 16. If we have a look at the data points, 60% possession for Bayer Leverkusen, 7 shots to TSG Hoffenheim's 10. So 7 shots, 2 on target for Leverkusen, 10 shots, 5 on target. So better for Hoffenheim. They did ultimately win the game 2-1. One big chance for Leverkusen, but clearly it went begging. 17 fouls committed by TSG Hoffenheim. Of course, a lot of them last season would have been from Tom Bischoff and Anton Stack. 4 corners to Leverkusen, 6. And in terms of passes, 565 passes. So they had retained a lot of the ball possession in that game versus just 387 for Hoffenheim. Clearly playing on the counter-attack, trying to nick the ball when they could. Touches in the opposition's box as well. Just the 14 for Bayer Leverkusen, 23 for TSG Hoffenheim. And again, yeah, just confirmation that we did get to see some game time for the new players that have come in. Ernest Poco, Claudio Echeverria and Christian Forfane. Individual stats then, this is Ibrahim Matza. We did call him out as the attacking midfielder. He's come in from Hertha Berlin, the Algerian. 84 minutes played, 38 touches, 3 of which were in the opponent's box, and 1 successful dribble along with 5 passes into the final third. Gerald Quansah, 90 minutes played, 1 goal, Bosch from a corner, 6 clearances, 3 of which were headed, 2 interceptions and 6 recoveries. And Patrick Schick, the Czechia tall striker, didn't get off the mark in this game. He had 21 touches, which apparently is the least amount of touches by any outfield player on both sides. No touches in the opponent's box and was offside once. And then Fisnik Aslani, the Kosovan, the striker, scored 1, set 1 up from his 3 shots on goal. He ended up being the player of the match with an 8.2 rating. Not the best start for Erik Ten Hag. Again, I suppose he's in a slightly better position than Oli Werner, who's come into RB Leipzig. Of course, RB Leipzig got absolutely embarrassed 6-0 against FC Bayern Munich in the Allianz Arena. And I sort of make that comparison in a sense that they're both out to rebuild a squad. I would argue that Ten Hag's probably a little bit further down the line because at least he's getting a tune. He's got a goal out of this team. They scored in pre-season friendlies. They scored in this game. They took an early lead, just couldn't hold on to it, and ultimately let that game slip away despite having most of the possession and despite the fact that most of the team had a lot of touches of the ball. Where does it go from here? All you Bayer Leverkusen fans out there, or just fans in general of fussball, anyone that's watched this game, that's seen some highlights, that's read the reports, any of you Manchester United haters that don't want to see Erik Ten Hag do well, or those that are Dutch and do want him to see him do well, what are your thoughts? You know what he can do, right? There's a comment section down there. It's got your name written all over it. And of course, if there are TSG Hoffenheim fans out there that's not Dietmar Hopp, that's a multi-millionaire, let me know your thoughts too, right? It's an opening day win for a team that finished 15th last season in the Bundesliga, just about scraped their way, just managed to stay in the Bundesliga despite the fact that I think they were probably distracted, right? They were playing Europa League football last year. That was a bit of a distraction. Didn't get out of the sort of revamped league stage, did they? But they put up a good fight. I believe they did win. They won their last game against Anderlecht, because I remember watching that on a Thursday evening, not with Pat Nevin. Anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts, people, on that game, on that result, the impact it's going to have, the transfers that are coming in and out. Again, it's a colossal rebuild, as proven with all those incomings that we've mentioned for Bayer Leverkusen. The two strikers, though, that Christian Iltz has picked up, or at least brought back from their loan spells, they've made a difference in this game. Two impressive strikers, both helping each other out, and at the end of the day, you score goals, you outscore the opponent, you win games. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Isn't that right, Gonzo? Gives a claw. Anyway, if you got this far in the video, thank you so much from the bottom of our collective tiny crumpled hearts. We are indebted to you for sticking with us. We did pass the 150 subscriber mark recently. We are on the road to 1k. I take 200 if we get there after the international break or before it. Anyway, yeah. You know what I'm going to ask of you, please? Thank you for getting this far, but if you could just ask a little bit more of you and have a think about, don't think about, please just help us out. You know the drill. 2 fingers double pivot. 1 to smash the like, the 2nd to hit the subscribe, and then thirdly, when you're out and about and in with a shout, let your classmates know, let your workmates know, let your family, your familia know, let them know about the channel, bring them on over, we can all grow together. How's that? Brilliant, eh? Brilliant. Thank you again. It means a lot to us. We're going now. I'll be the same. Ciao, 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 ciao.